Yes, right here. Fucking do it. Do it, do it. Do it. Fucking do it. Pull the trigger.
Shut up!
Pull the trigger.
Shut
Pull
up!
the trigger, do it!
No, Nico! Please! Please, no, I did it! I did it! Look at me! I did it! Natalie!
In episode 8, while his entire plan is detonating exactly on schedule, Max Cady is doing something almost nobody's talking about. He's setting up a restaurant, not hiding a weapon, not covering a murder, hanging fixtures in a fully furnished Basque restaurant that's about to open. And the name on that restaurant is the key to this entire season: Melissa and Adams, his dead wife, his unborn son. Nobody names a business after the family they were convicted of killing. Unless the restaurant isn't a memorial, it's a reservation, a table set for a family that doesn't exist yet. Because here's what I think episode 8 finally confirmed. Max Cady was never taking revenge on the Bowdens. Revenge is what he wants them to see, because revenge has an ending, and endings make people careless. What Max is actually doing is older, stranger, and so much worse. He's rebuilding the family he lost, piece by piece, child by child. And the Bowdens aren't his enemies, they're the raw material. Quick ground level check on where episode 8 leaves us, because the geometry matters. Zach locked in psychiatric care. Tom arrested for Ray's murder. Natalie arrested for shooting Max. 3 Bowdens, 3 cages, and Anna free. Completely, deliberately free. Alone in that big Savannah house, breaking 17 years of sobriety, staring at a family photo, and then driving toward the Cape Fear River with a gun. Now, the revenge reading says Max is winning. He's dismantled the family, humiliated the lawyers who buried him, and he's savoring it. That smile from across the street while Tom gets taken away is doing a lot of work for that reading, but the revenge reading has a problem. Several, actually. It can't explain the restaurant. It can't explain the baptism. It can't explain the ultrasound. It can't explain why Max keeps giving these people ways back into his life instead of ways out of theirs. So let's run the other reading. The one where every strange, ritualistic thing Max has done this season snaps into a single pattern. Max lost a wife and an unborn son 17 years ago, and he spent this entire season collecting replacements. Start with the piece Max built first, Adam. Back in episode 4, long before any of us knew where this was going, Max performs a ritual with the ultrasound of his unborn son, not looks at it, not grieves over it. A ritual. The show frames Max's relationship to his dead family as liturgy from the very beginning. The baptisms, the Spanish episode titles about God's timing. Max doesn't process loss, he practices it like a faith. And what does that faith need? A resurrection. Enter Zach. The Bowden son, already hollowed out before Max ever touched him, canceled, isolated, spending his days in his room. Max doesn't attack Zach, he fills him. Through Nevaeh, Zach is systematically conditioned into believing he isn't Zach Bowden at all. He's Adam. Max's unborn son returned, and it works. That's the horrifying part. By episode 7, Zach stabs his own father in public. Tom's own son puts a blade in him to protect the man he now calls his real dad. By episode 8, Zach is in psychiatric care and his mind is oscillating between 2 people. His doctor can't get a stable read on him because there isn't one. Some hours he's Zach, some hours he's Adam. And here's the detail that tells you the show means this literally. Adam appears on screen. Zach has visions of him. The unborn son isn't a backstory detail in this series. He's a presence, a recurring figure who keeps manifesting inside the Bowden family's son. Max didn't take Zach from the Bowdens. He's been overwriting him, and whether Adam is real or implanted, Zach can no longer tell the difference. The first seat at the table is filled. And now Nevaeh, because Nevaeh is where the pattern stops looking like a scheme and starts looking like a family tree. Her mother was a prison nurse. fired for an affair with Max inside the prison during his sentence, which means Nevaeh isn't a hired operative Max recruited for this job. She may genuinely be his daughter, a child conceived inside the 17 years the Bowdens gave him, a child of the punishment itself. And here's the thing, it doesn't even matter whether she is, she believes she is. Max made sure of that letter by letter for years, and Max raised her for this. They exchanged letters for years. He shaped her, promised her things, made her his instrument inside the Bowden household. She's the one who dismantled Zach and delivered him to Max as Adam, a daughter, building her father a son. But watch what happens to Nevaeh in episode 8, because it's the tell of the whole season. Natalie visits her in detention, and Nevaeh isn't calculating or cold. She's jealous. She fixates on one thing. Max took Natalie to the Cape Fear River, the trip he promised her in their letters for years. She spirals into rage about Natalie thinking she's Max's favorite. That's not the language of a co-conspirator who got burned. That's the language of a sibling. Nevaeh understands something the audience is only now catching up to, that Max is assembling children, that there's a hierarchy among them, and that she just got demoted. The river trip wasn't a manipulation tactic. It was a birthright, and Max gave it to someone else. Which brings us to Natalie, the centerpiece. Everything Max does to Natalie in episode 7 is a claiming ceremony, performed in order. He takes her to the Cape Fear River, the water he himself was baptized in. He baptizes her there, and then he hands her a piece of his beard for a DNA test. Water, then blood, a christening, then a birth certificate. And episode 8 tells us why the claim might actually be real. Anna finally gives Natalie and us the missing 17-year-old night. She was engaged to Paul. She was a blackout drunk. She went out drinking with Max during the trial, and she cannot remember what happened. What she knows is that she was pregnant when Melissa was found dead, and she's never been certain whether Natalie's father is Paul or the man she was defending. Sit with what that means from Max's side of the table. Max may have walked into prison believing he was leaving behind not one unborn child, but two. Adam, dead with Melissa, and a second child growing up in the house of the lawyer who buried him, raised as Paul's, then as a Bowden, 17 years inside the family of the woman who put him away. The revenge reading says Max wants to destroy the Bowden's daughter, but he's never once tried to destroy her. He returns her safely from the road trip. He hands her the evidence of his paternity voluntarily. Even the shooting, Natalie comes at him with a gun, and Max maneuvers her into a gut shot. He knows he'll survive. He takes a bullet from her rather than let the situation become something that can't be undone. You don't do that to a target. You do that for a child you're trying to bring home. And notice, he's not waiting on the DNA result. He handed over that sample without a flicker of doubt. Max already believes. Every move he's made flows from that belief, and no test result changes it. Second seat being filled in real time. So if the children are being collected, what's actually happening to the family they came from? Look at episode 8 as architecture instead of chaos, because the precision is unreal. The gun. Max kills Ray with the gun from Natalie's bag while she's drugged a few feet away, then secretly returns it to her, and she puts it back in Tom's safe herself. The murder weapon travels home in the daughter's hands and gets stored in the father's safe. When Ray's body surfaces in the family pool, the Bowdens don't get framed by planted evidence. They incriminate themselves. Tom finds his own gun fired, panics, swaps in a decoy, and forensics catches the swap. Every lie is theirs. The marriage. The photo of Max kissing Anna doesn't reach Tom through Max. It reaches him through Ray's phone. Through the Bowdens' own investigation, Tom detonates on his own in a jail visitation room, accusing Anna of marrying him to bury the truth about Natalie. The grandfather, Brandon Devereaux, Anna's own estranged father, plants the drugs for Tom and Anna, then flips, goes on the news at Max's side, and sells out his daughter's family. Anna's last blood ally, converted into Max's witness. None of this is a rampage. It's a controlled demolition where the building supplies its own explosives, and the shape of what's left standing is the tell. Zach contained, Tom contained, Natalie contained, Ray dead, Brandon flipped. Noah, sidelined and grieving. Anna is the only one left standing. And that's not a loose end. That's the design, because when Anna comes to his hospital bed and begs him to take the blame so Natalie can go free, Max refuses and listen to his reason. He wants her to feel as powerless as he felt, not dead, not destroyed, powerless, stripped of husband, children, father, allies, options, until there's exactly one direction left for her to move. Toward him, toward the river. She spent 17 years building a life with no trace of Max Cady in it. It took him one summer to remove every piece of it except himself. Everything up to this point is on screen. Here's the one step past the canon, and I want to flag it clearly, because if I'm right, it reframes the entire series. I think Max believes the Bowden family was always supposed to be his. Follow his logic, not ours, his. 17 years ago, in his mind, a night with Anna made her the mother of his child. Then Melissa was found dead. Anna teamed up with the prosecutor to bury him. That's her own word, bury, married that prosecutor, and raised Max's maybe daughter inside the marriage built on his conviction. From where Max sits, the Bowdens didn't just take his freedom. They took his family and lived in it. The house, the kids, the wife, all of it. In his theology, stolen property. And this explains the other thing Max has been doing all season, making them guilty. Tom lies, Anna hides, Natalie shoots, Zach stabs. He's not just proving the Bowdens were never better than him. In Max's theology, people this stained don't get to stand apart from him anymore. They belong with him. The corruption isn't the point, it's the qualification. So the plan was never to burn the Bowden family down. The plan is to take possession. Zach becomes Adam, the son restored. Natalie is claimed by water and blood, the daughter reclaimed. Nevaeh waits for her seat. The restaurant stands ready with his dead family's name over the door. A home with the lights on, and the mother, the last essential piece, is being driven alone and out of options to the exact stretch of river where Max was baptized and where he baptized Natalie. Anna thinks she's hunting him. She's armed, she's resolved, she's going to end this, but walk it back through everything Max has engineered this season and ask yourself, has a single member of this family made a move he didn't script? Anna isn't closing in on Max. She's arriving, the final seat at the table, walking itself to dinner. That's why the episode is called God's Timing is Perfect, not Max's timing, God's. Max doesn't think he's executing a plot. He thinks he's restoring an order the world broke 17 years ago, and everyone he's baptized along the way is part of the congregation. 2 episodes left, so here's what this theory predicts. Hold me to it. Watch The Restaurant. If Melissa and Adams opens its doors in these final 2 episodes, watch who Max seats there. That dining room is the family portrait he's been composing all season, and the show didn't build a fully furnished set for a throwaway beat. Watch the DNA result. The test exists in-world and it has to pay off. But notice, the result almost doesn't matter to Max. He handed over the sample without hesitation. He's not asking a question. He already believes. Watch Zach's visions. Adam's been appearing more, not less. If Adam manifests near the river in the finale, the resurrection stops being psychological and the show tips its hand completely. And watch the water. Every major claim Max has made this season ran through that river. Whatever ends this story ends there. The show's been telling us the address since the title card. But there's one person I haven't talked about. Someone who's been watching Max longer than anyone alive. His sister, Crystal, the boathouse on the river Anna's driving toward right now. She's been photographing Max for years. Her archive is the reason Tom found the kiss photo. She's been an invisible hand in this story since before episode 1. And who Apple cast to play her isn't a casting choice. It's a message about how this ends. A message hiding in plain sight since 1991. That's the next video. Get subscribed so you don't miss it. Because once you see who Crystal is, you can't unsee where this is going.